Hi everyone, it's Nicole Spohr and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be creating a Halloween slimline card. Yes, you guys, holiday stuff is going to start showing up in new releases and I love it. It was kind of a nice break from some of the other things I have been creating. So what we're going to do first is create a background. We're going to be featuring, gosh, I can't talk this today, featuring the Mama Elephant Happy Haunting brand new stamp and die set from the June 2021 release, but I'm also going to pull some previously released product. That's going to be this slim Woodland Creative Cuts die from Mama Elephant. It is probably one of my all-time favorite slimline scene building dies, mostly because it's all in one. There's really not a whole lot else that's needed here. I am going to mask off the edge from the stitching line to the edge of the panel. You definitely do not have to do that. That's me being extra, as normal. I like that because I feel like it mats it just a little bit, even though it's all one layer. And then I wanted to create a very easy background. We have a lot that's going to be going on, so I didn't spend like tons and tons of time, you know, with all of the background stuff, simply because it is going to get covered. I just want to get color on there. There's a couple ways to do this. I've done this in a couple of ways in the past. I will pull up some of those previous videos, pardon me, and I will link those down in the description box below here on YouTube. So if you want to check those out, you can. I am then just taking my blending brushes and a couple of different shades of, I'm using PinkFresh Studio inks here. I just grabbed whatever was handy. I have to tell you, my office is in a little bit of a disarray. I'm currently in the process of moving my office from one room to another, plus I have new furniture and I'm building it and I'm reorganizing. So look for, I'm still waiting on some furniture, so it will be a little bit before I'm sharing my craft space, but rest assured that is coming. It's probably going to be in more than one video, just as I kind of talk about my process for this, because it's been about 2 years, probably longer in all honesty, but 2 years since I moved here, trying to figure out what I wanted to do. Anyway, so I am using PinkFresh Studios in Gathered Twigs and Olive. I have mentioned this many times in lots and lots of videos. I love the PinkFresh Studio inks. I think they are beautiful. So Gathered Twigs is the trees, and I didn't mask anything off. I didn't worry about it. I like the blending of one color into another. So we've kind of got the tree tops there. We're actually going to use olive for the trees and for our landscape down along the bottom. One thing about using dye inks for your ink blending, they are going to smooth out and maybe even lighten a bit as they dry, but definitely smooth out. So if you see some kind of funny looking blotches, because definitely down here on the bottom, I felt like there were some blotches that were kind of not good. I spent quite a lot of time doing this. I don't know what it was. It was kind of relaxing actually, but I just really took forever ink blending this today. But it's going to smooth out and look fantastic. And like I said, there are going to be lots and lots of critters. I used every image from Happy Haunting on my card. Mama Elephant does such an amazing job with their critters. Them and Lawn Fawn are probably my favorites. Just as far as critters go, I mean, I've done stuff with both companies for so long, and I highly, highly recommend them and love them. And Mama Elephant, it seems like every year comes out with a really, really sweet, cute Halloween set. And so this is a really nice addition if you have some of those past releases as well. And another thing to mention, these critters are all in that same style and illustration as some of their other sets that they release throughout the year. So you can definitely mix in maybe other bears or foxes or mice or bunnies, any of that good stuff. Now this fence is from another slimline die collection from Mama Elephant, the Slim Fancy Fence. Yes, it is a completely other die collection. you definitely don't have to do this. I'm pulling from 3 today. Just use what you have. If you have a fence from somewhere else that you can, even if it's a smaller one that you can piece together, do that. There are lots of ways to do this. I have these, and like I said, I've had them for a while, so you might too. You might have picked these up along the way. So I always like to try to show some previously released products with some of the newer, just to show how they can extend their life. I did hit the fence with a little of the Gathered Twigs ink. I die cut it from some Simon Says Stamp KRAFT wood grain cardstock, so it has some texture to it, but I just wanted some of that ink to kind of hit that textured part and darken parts of the fence. For my background, I simply trimmed a background with my paper trimmer a little bit smaller, I mean like a scant smaller than my slim woodland frame. And then we're going to ink this up with blue violet and soft navy Simon Says Stamp inks. I was going for kind of a dark bluish purple, although I really don't know how much of the purple really, or the blue violet, shows in my finished background today. I think a lot of that maybe got covered up. I probably should have pulled that color up just a little bit. Regardless, I like this. I wanted it to look like a nighttime sky. We're going to embellish when we're completely done with our inking and stamping and coloring and putting the card together. We're going to embellish with like a little Trinity stamps moon up in the sky, and then some like little silver star confetti. I love these little embellishment mixes that Trinity stamps and several other companies. Honeybee Stamps does some good ones. So I love those, and I think they're a really fun way to add little extras to a card, especially when it's something kind of involved, as far as we're stamping and coloring 7 images from Happy Haunting, and that's quite a lot of work. So here is our background. I'm going to be placing that fence back behind the woodland frame, and I love how that turns out. So let's just set that aside for a minute and spritz the background with a little Hero Arts white iridescent spray. This is going to give a little sparkle and shimmer to our background panel when dry. And this, I will be honest, I had to do this twice. I messed up my first background because I thought it would be a good idea to splatter some white paint on it. It wasn't. It picked up the color of the background and the splatters did not look good. That first background had much better splatter than the one in my finished card with the iridescent splotches. I don't really think you can see a lot of them in the finished card, but that's okay. Oh well. The images here from Happy Haunting are stamped on Bristol Smooth cardstock and colored in with Zig Clean Color Real Brush markers. I love, love, love these. I think they are so, so cute. Of course, we've got all of our favorite critters from Mama Elephant dressed up in their best Halloween attire, their best non-scary Halloween attire. I personally, I think I've probably mentioned this many times in the past. I love decorating for Halloween. It's one of my favorite things. I love fall. So that's partly has something to do with it, but I love Halloween and Halloween decorations. I love Halloween quilts and quilting. It's kind of fun. I don't even really know why. I just love it. I'm not a super big fan of scary. In fact, everyone in my family laughs at me. My children think it's funny that their mom is afraid of scary movies. I will not watch them at all because I do not like jump scares. And so that is kind of a funny joke. So I'm a not so scary Halloween type of person, maybe. In fact, Disney always puts on, like at Disney World, we've been a couple times in the fall where they do the not so scary Halloween or the Halloween party, you know. And that's kind of my idea of a good time. I like the happy, fun element. And I feel like that's what we get here with Mama Elephant. What I love is I try to do an iridescent-y type of sheet over my bunny here, and I love how he's got like the little ball and chain. So cute. Kind of like, I think, what, the Ghost of Christmas Past, is that what? To me, I think that's kind of what that's supposed to be, maybe? I don't know. You guys tell me if I'm wrong. But I colored my bunny, and then I took the blue haze marker and I kind of just did some flicking and feathering motions through the bunny to add the illusion that it's a sheet, like a translucent sheet over the top of him. And then I even went in with my white pen and added a little detail there. You will notice that I did not use a single orange marker for the pumpkins on my card. That's because I am not a huge fan of orange and I'm using air quotes, you can't see me, orange pumpkins. I like them to have that brownish tint or rust type of tint to them if I'm creating orange pumpkins. So I used brown and light brown, which is an amazing color combination. That's usually what I use and what I will be using for the fox mummy in this card. But every pumpkin, Halloween tote, the pumpkin that the mouse is sitting on, and then like the pumpkin head that the cat has over its head, those are all going to be colored with brown and light brown. Leaves, I didn't go with limey leaves. I went with my favorite fall color combination, which is mid green and olive green. For our little mouse sitting on top of the pumpkin, I think my two favorite images, it's really hard to pick, but I think my two favorite images are the bunny with the ball and chain, and then of course the mouse sitting on the pumpkin. I love pumpkin images, and it was a struggle bus, guys, for this project. So I colored the mouse up to that point. I accidentally thought it would be a good idea to go ahead and go in, draw in the vampire teeth for my mouse, and then try to blend his face more. And I smeared black through his face, and it bothered me, so I restamped and recolored him. I mean, at this point, I have already redone my sky background. I had to restamp and recolor my vampire mouse. And then, oh gosh, the fox. The mummy fox, I did 3 times. This is I don't do this a lot, but I really like to share with you when I'm struggling. For whatever reason, I picked the wrong colors twice to do like the wrap around the mummy. And in fact, I started to color the fox first those first 2 times, and ultimately I decided, forget it, color something else and come back. And so he ends up being the last thing I color on this project. And it's a good thing. I think taking a little break from that when I was having so much trouble probably was really beneficial, because when I colored it the last time, it literally took me, I don't know, 5 minutes maybe. I really did not take long at all. This little cat is darling. I thought it would be so cute to stick the cat on the fence next to our bunny witch, because, you know, our little witch needs her kitty. And then this kitty that has the pumpkin on its head, I thought was hilarious. So really, really cute. As always, I have listed my marker colors across the top of the screen. I know sometimes they can be kind of hard to see there, so there is a link to my blog post in the description here on YouTube. You can definitely click on over there. I always list out any marker or coloring medium I'm using over there for easy reference. So if you like some of these colors and you'd like to have a little bit closer look at maybe what I use to color certain elements, like the pumpkins as I was talking about, you can always find that information there. Once I've colored in an image, I'm going to go in with a black fine tip pen, and I'm using a very small pen today, and drawing in face detail. I love that. How cute is that little pumpkin face? So the most colorful images on my card, there's a lot of neutrals going on. Up until this point, it's going to be this little bear. He is going to be colored in neutrals, but then he's got like a little cape, and then it looks like a party hat. Maybe he's supposed to be a witch, but with the stripes on that hat, it made me feel like it wasn't. I mean, that's not a witch's hat. The bunny has a witch's hat. I don't know. I felt like maybe he was like a little clown, but not really. I don't know. I'm not exactly sure what his costume is, but he's cute. So a little mid-brown and oatmeal for our bear, pink haze for his cheek and the inside of his ear, but I decided to go colorful. He's going to provide a nice pop of color, and then when we color the bunny witch, she also is going to be nice and colorful, just not quite as many colors. I opted to go with red for the cape here, and then of course his little jack-o'-lantern. And I felt like I needed to smooth out some of my coloring lines. They looked a little messy. And I'll color in the jack-o'-lantern and then go back in with my black pen and draw in any missing detail. And I'm just going to go ahead and do that right now. Bear face, the little, string around the neck, and the face on our jack-o'-lantern. For the cape, I outlined it in carmine red, and then I'm going to blend out with light carmine, and I'm continually cleaning the tip of my marker so I'm not pulling so much of the darker red out, and it has kind of some nice direction to the fabric. And then red at the tip of the party hat, and then we've got bright yellow and yellow, light green and yellow green, turquoise green and green shadow, and finally blue and light blue. And our cute little bear is all colored. Let's move on to our witch. She is cute, and like I said, she's also going to bring in some bright, fun color. Platinum, brown, and warm gray too for her fur, with pink haze for the insides of ears, but then her hat and dress are both going to be deep violet and light violet. And that's going to be a nice bright purple. Kind of brings in some more color. And then her top and tights are going to be kind of candy corn, yellow and orange. And here we're going to start pulling in our lighter colors. I want to go ahead and get those down. The deep violet is going to act very much like a red. If you touch it with the tip of a yellow marker, the chance of it maybe bleeding out into those yellow areas is greater. So you're going to want to color the lighter area first and then go into that darker area or the darker color. So I'll go back and color the rest of the purple here in a minute. Same goes for the inside of the ears. In fact, I did pick up a little bit of the purple when I was adding the pink haze in that left ear, but I was able to kind of lift it up and away. The little patch on the dress, we want to color that in before we get too excited about adding all of the color. I'm really, really loving this little witch. I think she's cute. I think I've said that about all of these critters, but I really do love them. I will be sharing some more Halloween projects with Mama Elephant Release. There's a new Little Witch agenda. There's some new big sentiments, all good stuff. Another a more fallish themed stamp set or any time of the year stamp set as well. So look for some more videos featuring new June 2021 release products coming within the next week or two. Just draw in the face. If at any time, I know here, because especially where the purple is, some of the lines were really, really hard to see. I like to keep my stamp set close for easy reference, so I can reference that as I'm working on drawing in maybe face detail or the stitches on the patch on her dress, anything like that. You can always just reference your stamp set for those types of things. So for the mummy wrappings, not real exciting at all, but it is necessary. I'm doing my light color first because this brown is going to leak into anything else if I try to do it first. I used warm gray too to just kind of trace over the lines of my fox. Then there's not a lot of him showing. There's his paws and a little bit of his face and then the tip of his tail. We'll color all that in, and his ears. Yes, you're going to see that I don't color in his ears throughout the rest of this video. I got as far as I took photos of this. I started to edit my photos, and I got to the last photo I was editing and realized I hadn't colored in the tip of his ears. When I say this project was a struggle, I was on the struggle bus, it's true. I don't have any idea what my deal was, but I was having a rough time. It's a good thing it turned out good. It's a good thing that I love the finished result, because as simple as this really was to make, I was struggling. I don't know if I haven't got enough sleep. I have been working out a lot, and you know, just summer. It's been hot here. Somebody mentioned to me the other day that maybe it's the big change in the weather. Like, this is the first really hot streak we've had, and it might be true. It might be the hot weather's getting to me. So we're going to start building our scene. I put the fence on the back of our slim woodland, and then I placed the background right over that. And then we're going to glue our witch and our kitty, and then our little kitty sitting with the pumpkin head, the mouse on the pumpkin, and then we want to line up the rest of our three critters over here, kind of along the right side. And I was thinking I wanted to try to tuck him underneath this, but ultimately I opted not to do that. That was not working out great. So we kind of have our fox, our bear, and then finally our bunny. And this naturally leaves a great space kind of up in the middle for a sentiment. You could stamp it directly on the background if you want. I'm going to stamp Happy Halloween with some black ink on a scrap of smooth white cardstock. Then I'm going to take this Slim Film City thought bubble. There are thought bubbles in just a zillion die sets, so find something that will fit your greeting. And I die cut it with that die, and then I'm going to pop it up with foam adhesive. I really felt like there was enough going on in this slim card that something simple would really work the best. And a little benefit of using a slimline card in this case is that if I had been using an A2 card, the likelihood of being able to fit all 7 of the images from Happy Haunting would be pretty much, you know, probably wasn't going to happen. I love that with the slimline style card, I was able to add them all, and they're not crowded. It feels natural. It feels like a storybook scene that you would see if you opened up a children's book. A lot of times I think in my mind that's kind of how I envision a card when I'm creating it, no matter what the size. But for me, I really wanted this scene to tell a story, and this worked so well by doing it this way. So now that we have that, I think our sky needs just a little embellishing, don't you guys? So what we're going to do is place our whole card on a slimline card base, a slimline card base that measures 3.5 by 8.5 inches. This is pretty standard for a slimline style card. You can see it leaves a little border all the way around, which I love. Then this is the Trinity Stamps Goodnight Moon Embellishment Mix. That's where the moon comes from. I feel like that moon just adds so much to this design. Now this embellishment set also comes with white stars. I don't want to use the white stars. They would have been fine, but I decided I needed some sparkle, and I also wanted little bitty stars, so we're going to use the Lucy's Little Things itty bitty silver stars. And I'm going to just add little dabs of glue and use my embellishment wand to pick these up and pop them in place all over my background. And how obvious is it, you guys, that I didn't color in the fox's ears? I mean, I don't know how I didn't notice that when I was creating this card. Some days you do really good, and some days there are just glaringly obvious things that you don't notice. And that was one of those. I'm so glad I did notice it though before I had already, you know, filmed and edited, or I guess I filmed, but edited and uploaded, because that's the worst when you have to redo all of that. And I have had to do it before because it does happen at times. Thank you guys so much for joining me today for this Slim Halloween scene card featuring brand new Mama Elephant June 2021 release stamps and dies. The supplies I used to create my card are listed and linked below the video here on YouTube. Here is another video featuring Mama Elephant products that you might be interested in. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell to never miss a new card making video. Thank you so much for joining me today, and we'll catch you next time.